Of course, you're going to want to add text to your videos. You're going to want a title for the movie, and maybe you have the names of people that are in the video and so forth. So let's talk about adding text and titles in Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum. To add text, click the Media Generators tab and choose Titles and Text from the list on the left. You've got a number of different presets, and you can choose any one of those. For now, we'll just choose the default and drop it on the text track in our project. That opens the Video Media Generators window with all the text tools. And of course, this just works like any word processing program. So you can just type in the name of your video, change the font size and the bolding and so forth. Just basic typesetting controls here that you're probably used to from word processing software. You can change the text color with the color chooser tools here. Choose a color from the field, change the hue with the slider here. You can use the color picker to sample a color from the video. So if I sample that snow, it turns back to white. And you notice that when I wanted to access these controls, I just click the expand arrow, and when I'm done with those controls and I want to reclaim some of the space on my box here, I can just click the collapse arrow and it collapses down. You can use the scale slider or type a value in for the scale directly to change the size of the text box. And if you want to set it back to its default, you can just double click it to set it back, just like many other controls in Vegas Movie Studio HD. And if you want to change the location of the text, you can use the location field. Just drag the target around to where you want the text to be. Now, the neat thing about scale and location is that you can also adjust those right in the video preview window itself. Just grab hold of the text, move it to where you want it, grab a corner and make it a little bit bigger. So that's adjusting the scale and the location. And that's handy because you can place your text and size your text and see exactly what it's going to look like on the video that you're putting it in. The Advanced tab holds color background tracking. That's the space between letters. So if I increase the tracking a little bit, you can see the letters spreading out a bit. Let's put that more in the middle. And in fact, I'm going to put it down at the bottom, and you'll see why in a moment. So that's tracking. Line spacing, if you have two lines of text, that would be the space between those two lines. And an outline if you want the text to glow, and a shadow if you want a drop shadow. Just turn the drop shadow on, and there's the shadow. And if you don't want it, just turn it right back off. You can change the color of the shadow, the offset, and so forth. Basic text tools. Now, a couple of things that I glossed over in that quick little run through. First of all, the animation drop-down list. This drop-down list is an interesting tool because what it gives you is several different preset animations that you can apply to your text. So let's just choose a couple kind of at random here. Let's choose bounce and see what it looks like. You can also already see that it's doing something unusual to the text. Let's play it and find out what it does. And basically all this does is it applies an animation to your text and gives it a different look. So there's bounce. Let's try a couple others just to see what we've got here. What's this one? Menace. Okay, so that sort of stretches it out, shakes it around a little bit, and then puts it right back where it started. Pop up. This one sort of makes the text float, float into view. So you get the idea. You can just choose whatever animation you want from this list and apply it to the text. I'm going to set that back to none, and I want to show you another animation tool. Now, every one of these parameters is individually animatable, and you can animate them by clicking the animate button that corresponds to the parameter you want to change. So let's say we want this text to float from the bottom up, and for this tracking that we set, remember we spread the letters out, have that tracking float from what it's set to now back to normal. So what we can do is click the Animation tab for the location. That brings up the keyframe controller area down at the bottom. And just like the keyframes that we set earlier when we were working with the obscuring the man's face as he walked by the camera, we just place our cursor, add a keyframe, and change the parameters at that keyframe in Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum will do the rest for us. And let's do the same thing with tracking, where we have tracking and set it back to its default of 0. And now when we play this, you'll see this text that's spread out on the bottom, kind of squeezed together, and move up to the top. So let's play it and see if we've successfully created that animation. Squeezes together, moves up to the top, and there we go. So the keyframe capabilities here are very powerful, and as I said, each one of these parameters has an animate button, and you can animate each of these individually. So a very powerful and pretty straightforward tool for adding titles and text in Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum.